Hello and welcome. I'm Tauni, for those of you who are new here, and if you have been practicing with me for a while, welcome back. I truly appreciate you being here. We're going to begin our vinyasa flow practice today in a child's pose. So when you're ready, meet me down on the mat, taking the knees wide, feet connected, lowering down. Taking these first few moments of class to gently close the eyes, to settle into your mat, turning your attention to your body and your breath. Beginning to lengthen both the inhale and the exhale. With every breath, we inhale the positive energy, those things that we want to draw near to us. And as we exhale, we let go of any worries, doubts, anything that is no longer serving us well today. Begin to lift up into a tabletop position. Beginning with some gentle spine rotation, begin to lift your arm up. And as you exhale, thread the needle underneath without touching the floor. Inhaling, lift, gentle twist. Exhale, rotate. Last one, breathe in. And this time lower all the way down into that thread the needle stretch. And extend the left arm out in front of you. Coming back to tabletop. Let's do that on the other side. So as you breathe in, sweep that left arm up. Exhale, rotate into thread the needle. Again, open. And exhale, twist. Last time. Coming into that thread the needle pose. Lowering to the mat, extend your right arm out in front of you. Coming back into tabletop. Stepping your feet back, moving into our first down dog. Gently alternate bending your knees as you pedal out your feet. Take a moment here to find that foundation in the hands. And then come into downward facing dog. One leg dog by lifting the right leg up. We're going to bend the knee and start to draw some circles, beginning to awaken the hip and switching direction. Keeping your upper body nice and strong. Now extend the leg and then bring that right foot between the hands as your back knee finds the mat. Keeping the fingertips on the mat into this kneeling lunge. Moving into a gentle twist by reaching the right arm over the head, turning your gaze up to the sky. Taking the hand down, stepping back to downward facing dog. Hands shoulder distance apart, feet hip distance. Tailbone lifting, spine long. One leg dog, lifting the left leg up. Bend that knee and start to draw those circles. Switching direction. So all of this is really good for hip mobility, extending the leg, foot down between the hands, kneeling lunge, back knee finds the mat, lengthen your spine, drop your hips down. Then moving into our twist, taking the left arm up. Hand comes down, step back to down dog. Begin to move forward into a plank pose. We're going to move into supported plank, taking the knees to the mat. Let the tops of your feet relax down into the mat and bend your elbows. Lower all the way down. Lift for cobra. Tucking the toes, press back to downward facing dog. Begin to look forward and step your feet to your hands. Lengthen your spine for half lift, Ardha Uttasana. Exhale to your forward fold. Inhale, rising up. Taking that right hand down and stretching through the left side of the body as you lean over to the right in that lateral bend. Reaching both arms up. Exhale, left arm down and lengthen through the right side body. Extending the arms up, high mountain pose. Swan dive, forward fold. Inhaling, half lift, gaze forward. And fold. Stepping back to high plank. Shift forward, knees can be up or down, lower to your mat. Lift into cobra. Press back to downward facing dog. Lifting the right leg up, one leg dog. Bringing the foot between the hands, high lunge. So take a moment here to find your pose. Front knee over that ankle. You want your shoulders stacked over your hips. Bringing the hands to the heart center, lean forward, moving into twisting prayer, taking the left elbow outside of the right knee. So remember, you can always take the hand down to the mat for a gentler twist, and you could also lower that back knee to the mat like we did previously. Begin to come back into that high lunge. Then open to the side as the back heel finds the mat, straighten your legs. Triangle pose, Trikonasana. Aligning over that forward leg. Breathe in and reach up, extend your arms, toes to the corners, bending your knees into Sun Goddess pose. Feel that strength you brought with you today. Begin to lift. Bend into Skandasana, that lateral lunge into your left leg. Hands at your heart center, or again, support with the hands on the mat is always an option. Begin to pivot to the back of your mat. Taking the eyes forward, left hand forward, lift the right leg for balancing half moon. Taking the hand down first, close the hip. Bringing the foot down, bend both knees into chair pose as your arms reach up. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Half lift, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Stepping back to high plank. Shifting forward, bending your elbows halfway this time for Chaturanga. Flipping your feet over for up dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Lifting the left leg up, one leg dog. Find that extension, and then step the foot forward, warrior lunge. Bring your hands to your heart, lean forward, twisting prayer, squeezing the abdominal muscles, keeping that back nice and strong. Inhaling, lifting back up, warrior lunge. Exhale, open to the side, back heel down, leaning forward, triangle pose. Begin to lift, extending the arms, toes to the corners, sun pose. So see how you're doing today in your range of motion. Maybe you can sink a little lower. Just find sensation in your pose. Keep those nice long breaths. Lift up, bend into your right knee, lateral lunge, skandasana, onto the right leg. Begin to pivot. Extend the right hand forward, lift the left leg, balancing half moon. Taking the hand down, keeping the leg lifted, close that hip, and then bring the foot to the mat, bending your knees, chair pose, Utkatasana. Rising up, extend, swan dive, forward fold. Half lift, step back to chaturanga, elbows at the ribs, upward facing dog, down dog. Two more deep breaths here. Looking forward, step or float, feet to hands. Forward fold. Inhale, rising up. Mountain pose, arms to your sides. We're going to begin by balancing on the right foot. Serve the platter. We're going to grab the inside of the foot as we move into dancer pose. Actively pressing the foot into the hand. Begin to extend forward. Returning to mountain pose. Don't get frustrated today if balance is an issue. It's different from day to day. Let's try it on the other side. And you could always go over to a wall. When you're ready, move into your balanced pose of dancer. Mountain pose. Beautiful job. We're going to step wide. I want you to face the long edge of your mat. Turn your toes forward. We're going to move into a standing straddle, reaching your arms up. Come into your standing straddle. Let the top of the head reach for the floor. So you can continue here to reach for the outsides of the feet or sweep them up behind you, binding your hands or maybe grabbing onto your elbows. Adding that chest expansion. Opening up through that upper body. Taking the hands to the mat, start to walk your feet in and come to a kneeling position on your mat. So from here, I'm gonna turn so you can see me a little bit better. We're gonna take our toes down into the mat. Our knees are hip distance apart. We're gonna move into half camel. So I'm going to begin with my left arm, and you're going to, just like we did dancer pose, how we serve the platter, we grab the inside of the foot. You're going to do the same thing, and then when you're ready, lift your hips, extend your arms up and back, coming into a beautiful back bend of half camel. Come down and release. So oftentimes I do this from a kneeling position. We're just getting into the pose a little differently today. Let's try that again. Grabbing the inside of that foot. When you're ready, lift the hips, pressing the hips over the knees best you can. Open your heart. And come back down. So one more time, I'll tell you when to switch, or we're going to try both hands at the same time. Again, do what works for you. So when you're ready, lift up, hips press forward, heart opens, camel pose. Slowly come up and then drop the hips. Let's do a few rounds of cow and cat to loosen that up. So all fours, just begin to make a C shape with the spine in both directions as you flow. Good, so I'm going to turn back to the long edge of the mat. And from here, we're going to go into a frog pose today. So we're going to start to walk our knees wide. You want to try to keep your ankles in line with your knees. So we're all going to look a little different, just like in every pose, depending on your flexibility. You're going to lower down. So to make this more intense, you send the hips back. If you need to loosen it up, you'll come forward. Find your edge, breathe. I don't know if you guys can hear that voice. We have peacocks here on the property, and one of them is making his voice heard today. So I don't know if it'll come through on the video or not, but if you hear that, that's what that is. So to come out of this pose, come forward, bring your heels in, your feet closer, then the knees, and then rise up. It's the best way I have found to get out of that pose. So meet me here on the mat, find those sits bones, moving into boat pose, keeping the back straight, extending your arms. You can stay here or you can extend. Always invite you to play with the poses, see what works for you. You might feel something different. And come out of it. Let's extend the right leg, left foot to the inner thigh. Seated, one leg fold, lengthen up. Come forward, lengthening out of your low back into your fold. Walking the hands back, lift that left knee. Seated twist, extending the right arm up, twisting over that left shoulder, turning your gaze. Switching sides, extending the opposite leg, coming into your seated one leg fold. Beginning to rise up, lifting the knee, seated twist, left arm up, and twist, turning over your right shoulder. Turning forward, extending both legs. Sit up nice and tall. Reach forward, coming out of that low back. Reach, reach, reach. Take a breath in and lengthen your spine. Like that half lift that we do. Then maybe fold forward. Try that again. Lengthen and fold. Last one. Half lift, lengthen and fold. Begin to roll down to your back, one vertebrae at a time. Drawing the knees into the chest. Circles here for some self-massage for your back. Switching direction. Placing the feet down on the mat. Hands at your sides, lifting into bridge pose. Binding your hands. Placing your hands on your midsection, coming into reclining butterfly. Taking the knees wide, feet connected. I invite you to close your eyes. Again, your attention inward to your body and your breath. Moving into our resting pose of shavasana. Arms at our sides, legs extended. Keeping the eyes closed. Release the tension from your body. Find stillness. Find relaxation. I'll be back with you in just a moment. So you are always welcome to hit that pause button and stay here for as long as you'd like. Or if you're with me, begin to bring movements gently back into the body. Bringing the knees in, rolling to your side in a resting fetal position. Pausing to acknowledge gratitude for all the things we're thankful for, but especially for our bodies and for what they do for us every day and for our time on the mat. Helping yourself back up to a seated position. You did beautifully. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice. From my heart to yours, namaste. Thanks again for joining me for this practice. I hope you loved it. Have a blessed day.